This song is for your own security. I'm coming after you, so be afraid of me. I know your life story, I could write a book. This is a stalking song, and this is a hook. This song is for your own security. I'm coming after you, so be afraid of me. I know your life story, I could write a book. This is a stalking song, and that was the hook. I'ma tell you a secret I've been dying to tell. I first saw you, and in love I fell. Now this is no childhood crush. I know where you live and take hair from your brush. Sometimes at night I wait outside. In your backyard there's places to hide. I hop your fence and throw your dog a bone. I go there all the time when you're not at home. Remember that time you were late to work? I snuck in your closet and stole your shirt. I put it on and started dancing around. I wear it under my clothes and hit the town. This song is for your own security. I'm coming after you, so be afraid of me. I know your life story, I could write a book. This is a stalking song, and this is a hook. This song is for your own security. I'm coming after you, so be afraid of me. I know your life story, I could write a book. This is a stalking song, and that was the hook. Now let's avoid that restraining order and synchronize our schedules for next quarter. If you could see those pictures in my room, you know what we look like as bride and groom. And at our wedding, I'll raise my glass. We can reminisce on my creepy past. We'll have 3 kids and move to the city. We'll be living large just like P. Diddy. 10 years from now, we'll still be together on the beach in Cancun enjoying the weather. That's how I see us living our life. You'll be the husband and I'll be your wife. This song is for your own security. I'm coming after you, so be afraid of me. I know your life story, I could write a book. This is a stalking song, and this is a hook. This song is for your own security. I'm coming after you, so be afraid of me. I know your life story, I could write a book. This is a stalking song, and that was the hook. Please take this as one last warning. I'm obsessed with you. There's no stopping me. I can't control the things I do. This song is for your own security. I'm coming after you, so be afraid of me. I know your life story, I could write a book. This is a stalking song, and this is a hook. This song is for your own security. I'm coming after you, so be afraid of me. I know your life story, I could write a book. This is a stalking song, and that was the hook.
What is going on, everyone? Happy Friday. I didn't know if I was gonna stream today, and it looks like I'm gonna stream twice because I'm streaming with Nuggies later, but that's gonna be a Queen of Spades stream, so completely different lolcow. But yeah, I hope you guys had a good Friday. We're gonna catch up to Blue Boy on we're gonna do 22, 23, and 24 today and get caught up, and then tomorrow I'll be doing the robot call. I'm gonna do James. I haven't heard so many of them, so I'm looking forward to getting it on the robot call. I actually started off, my first streams were the robot calls, then I got sidetracked by this sex pest. And you know, but here we are. So let me just say hi to some people in the chat. Michael Mendoza, Gnomes, Honest, some jealous basement dweller, Vex. Did you like that new song? That was Double Take, the same ones who do that princess song that I use for Jesse's streams. La Senorita, Rocket Fuel Foreskin, Dragon Words, Kahootin, Bartek, what's going on, Bartek? Cyberstreak, Turd Ferguson, Dragon Words, Freelance Dom DeLita, La Senorita, hello there. Lorne's Lowell, who else? Some sound. Honest, I say hi to you. Honest, it's nice to see you around. Ilrieg FBI, Road Scholar, yeah, I got your email. I'm pathetically disgusted. I love that. Black Dog, just Black Dog. Hey, Black Dog. Mandy J. Is Black Dog? Is that like Lorne's buddy Tyrone? He probably called him Black Dog, but like that's my dog. Little Evil McNuggets, who is wrong again. Rocket Phil Foreskin, I probably said hi to you already. And Tickle P Shivers, Anthony R, Janine, and Socks. Socks, I think I might have your voice on video. And if that's you, that's pretty fucking cool. So guys, I did someone did point out to me that the like to viewer ratio has been pretty low. And I know I don't want to steal Clobber's thing because he has thought crimes, but what if I had a non-sexual fox singing thought crimes? Because I can play it at any time.
Thought crime, spies are listening. Thought crime to what you're typing. Thought crime.
I mean, I can just play that at any time. I also have a Queen of Spade twerking, so just give me a reason, guys. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and get started. I'm excited. I'm excited to get caught up on these and then get to some robot stuff because the contrast between the two is pretty funny. He is so beaten down by the time he's with Casey that it's like a completely different Lorne.
That's phone number. That's why I changed this and texting.
No, I don't know anything about that.
And texting me, and me and him went back and forth.
Okay. And he told you he sent you child porn?
He told me that he's hacked into my computer before when I lived in Canaan.
Okay. Did he say I sent you child porn?
No, he did not. He didn't say that, but he wouldn't admit to that anyway over text.
But you're saying you do have proof he sent it.
Somewhere along the way, there's proof.
But you have the proof.
I don't have the proof. I know it came from perverted justice.
No, you don't. You're just guessing.
It wasn't just random. I've never had child porn sent to me before that time.
Why does that it have to be?
That is actually false. That is actually false because according to his own words, when he was chatting with the underage girl who they formed a bond and she was flashing him on camera, that was child porn. So Lauren, not only did you receive child porn, you were part of making child porn. And that's already out there. You know that's out there. But as long as he refuses to believe it, this is where he'll be in this. Is this really the trailer? Or is this the edition he did over at Betty's?
For the justice, you were chatting up kids all over the place.
I have never had child porn sent to me before that
So
one
how does
time.
that make it easier?
Then all of a sudden this thing happened, and so it's just a coincidence that I got that child porn around the same time that this thing happened.
I don't know. You tried talking to 3 kids during this thing. You Melissa, Molly. I don't know who else you were talking to.
Holy fuck.
All I'm saying is you have no proof that it was Xavier. You just want to believe it was Xavier.
Yeah, I believe it was him.
Okay, great. Well, you just believe anything someone tells you? You never do your own research?
No, I'm the one that's doing the research.
What research? What research have you done?
Whatever research I can find.
Exactly. You haven't done research.
Not on that, not yet. But I'm quite positive it was perverted justice.
Oh, no, you're quite positive. Okay. Well, I'm quite positive it wasn't.
Coincidental. It was too coincidental for it to not be.
Okay. Well, you keep believing that, but it's not true. Emma is God. You put Emma on this God level that she doesn't deserve.
No, I don't put Emma on no God level. That's for damn sure.
Well, you believe anything she says about Xavier.
No. Well, things that she was saying about Xavier was believable.
Yeah, you want to believe anything she says about Xavier, even when it's not real.
Yeah, because I don't like him. Because I know how he is.
You're biased. You just believe anything negative about him. She said it to gain your trust, Lauren. It's on the internet. They laugh about it.
He's a big crybaby. Somebody that doesn't
You're
agree
a big
with the way he is. Somebody that doesn't agree with the way he believes or he is. He targets them.
You should never call anyone a crybaby.
Huh?
that you should never call anyone a crybaby, considering there's a website full of you crying.
Oh, gee, I wonder who thought that idea up.
Did you just believe it because you don't like him? Wow, that's solid.
I wonder who thought that up. I wonder who thought that up. The target me to catfish.
Solid proof. Just believe it because you don't like him.
I wonder who thought that up to target me to catfish.
Emma. The same one who did.
And Emma was working with Xavier. I kept fighting my case, and that's why they targeted me. Because they didn't like that I was fighting my case, because I might find something else.
I love that in Lorne's mind now. The reason why things they were worried about Lorne, investigator Lorne, drying up, getting sober again, and resuming his career as the best damn detective in Cornville. And he's sniffing shit out, so they have to keep Lorne down. But I mean, look, it's not stopping him and his extravagant lifestyle. You think it's really going to stop him from getting justice? And I did find corrupted justice. I know exactly what he's talking about. So when he does get to that part, I have a few thoughts on it.
Go ahead and fight the case.
I found out a lot, so
okay. Well,
I found out a lot.
Yeah, well, you sure showed them.
I found out things that they didn't want anybody to know, like how their computers just happened to crash when the cops came because they had a report of child pornography being on them. And every one of the computers just happened to crash at the same time.
Where did you get that info from?
I get it from the news.
Where?
I get it. It was on the news. It was also in some of the stuff that corrupted justice had said.
Gosh, that's so funny. It's been thoroughly debunked.
So Corrupted Justice was a 2020 special that they ran about the tactics used by perverted justice and some of the questionable things about, what they wanted to do was tear down their competitor. I mean, they had To Catch a Predator was a huge show. It had entered pop culture. It was getting lampooned on everything. And so if you can make something where you're exposing something behind that, then you're going to catch some of the ratings off that. Because I mean, let's be honest, when it comes to any TV show, whether it's news or a sitcom, it's all about eyeballs on advertiser brands. So yeah, you can look at the tactics used by any organization that questionable things about them. I mean, but let's be honest, no one can say that Lorne was in the wrong place at the wrong time, or that Lorne was somehow led to this home in any way other than given a fucking address. Because he was willing to even go out a weekend before so he can plot exactly how he was going to hide his truck so he can make love to his 13-year-old girlfriend. This dude was not lured.
What difference would that be?
But anyway, that Corrupted Justice special is on YouTube. I should stream it. We should do a reaction to it sometime. Because I've seen it once, but I should give it a watch again.
Alex Jones does the same exact thing. Makes up his own shit.
Alex Jones has proof. You have no proof.
Alex doesn't have proof. He has videos that was made.
Watch his videos. You'll see the proof.
He has videos that was made.
Yeah, I do that too.
Just because the videos that was made doesn't mean that they're real.
Well, you just have what Emma told you, and that doesn't make it real.
No, I don't believe anything Emma told me.
You're doing what you accuse me of doing. Just believe in things randomly.
I don't believe anything that Emma told me.
Besides, Xavier is a pedophile. I mean, you obviously do believe it. You obviously believe he's the one who sent you child porn, just because Emma told you.
That I do.
I would love for you to take that to court. I would fucking love it. I think you should. You should give that proof to your lawyer. It'd be so do it. Actually, I like this idea. Give your lawyer all the proof that Xavier's a pedophile. Please.
When I see my lawyer, that's gonna do stuff. They hire investigators to come up with the proof that they need.
Good.
When the proof is there, what are you gonna say then?
Oh wait, okay. So he's gonna hire Saul Goodman, and Saul Goodman is going to create, because the only way that you can have an investigator or a lawyer come up with this evidence is to create said evidence. So that's what he's doing. I didn't realize.
That's bullshit.
Well, there is no proof, so you don't have any. You can't just accuse someone of something and tell your lawyer they're going to hire people to do research and you have no proof.
Casey, what if Alex Jones said it? What would you
And
say
there
then?
isn't any proof. What are you going to say?
Well, what if Alex Jones pulled up some proof in front of you and said, "Here"?
Then I would believe it. Like if you had proof.
You would believe it because it's Alex Jones?
No, I just said if he had proof. If you had proof, I'd believe it. You don't have any proof.
You know, they searched on my computer that I had in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
And?
There was only one child pornography picture that they found.
Well, how did you get that?
That's the one that was sent to me.
Well, that's one too many. Where did you get it from?
I believe it came from Perverted Justice.
Okay, but you don't have any proof, though.
No, I don't have my computer either. But.
Okay, so you don't have proof.
But.
I'm just confused how you're going to.
Anything that goes over the internet is never erased.
Well, yeah, I know. All your dick pics are online.
Yeah, well, can't take them off.
No, because you can't.
So when I hire the lawyer, they hire the investigator. They'll do what they need to do to find what they need to find.
Right, but you have to have like some basis of proof in order for them to even take the case. I can't just go outside and accuse my neighbor of being a pedophile because I don't like that his dog barks. Well, and then be like, hey, lawyer, figure it out. I would need to have a case. You don't have a case. You don't have money to hire anyways.
Okay, listen. When I hire them to go after these people online, they're not gonna just investigate one person because they're gonna see all the videos. They're gonna go through all the videos. They're gonna be finding different things, just like I did. We
should put together a playlist to make it easy. Let's make it easy for the lawyer and his private detective, our team of detectives when they're hired. Let's make it easy on them so they can just find one playlist, and we'll have it just be the most offensive, the most egregious video that you believe that you could be jailed for harassing Lorne. Let's just put that in the playlist so they don't have to go digging through all your content. Okay, guys, can someone raise your hand if you're willing to put together the playlist so that we can all go to jail, starting with Hillborn and then Blue Boy.
Constantly.
Okay, and then what?
And they're gonna do research on that stuff, and they're gonna backlog it. They're gonna follow the trail everywhere that it goes.
And then what?
So I think Lorne believes, because he's going to be going after not just Perverted Justice or Xavier, but he's going to go after NBC. He's going to go after so he thinks that he's going to find a lawyer who's going to work on a contingency basis and get money out of those deep pockets of NBC. Now, if he had an actual case, if he actually was falsely accused of something by NBC and was later found innocent, proven innocent, then he would be able to find a lawyer who absolutely would take that case up front because they would know that there's money that NBC would probably settle. But no one is going to take this case. Lorne is not going to get a lawyer. Otherwise, he would have one already. I mean, what are you waiting for? The 20-year reunion? Like, get that shit going.
And they'll find what they need to find. Criminal acts and civil acts.
And, okay, I mean...
So when they find the proof that they need, I'll show it to you.
But as of right now, you don't have any proof.
God damn it, Casey.
As of right now, I don't. I just have my belief.
Oh, okay. So why can't I have my belief?
Well, you can, but the problem is your belief is going off Alex Jones.
And your belief's going off Emma.
My belief's not going off Emma. I got that picture long before I ever met Emma.
So what are you going to do then when that child porn didn't come from him. It came from someone else.
I'll get him to go after.
How?
They should probably go after the person who received it as well.
Oh, after me?
Yeah, you had child porn.
Yeah, I had child porn on my computer that came from someone that I never asked for. I didn't know what it was when I opened it.
Why did you open it?
I didn't know what it was. I'd never received child porn before. I didn't even know what it was.
An email or what?
It was just some little link. I didn't even read what the link was. Back then, if somebody sent me a link, I opened the link to see what it was.
Why didn't you report that to the police then?
I just put it in the trash.
You didn't report it to the police?
No, I didn't. I didn't want anything to do with it.
You didn't want to save a child?
Back then, my thought process wasn't that.
You didn't want to protect kids back then?
They can tell forensically how many times you've opened a file, what you did with the file, if you sent the file. They can tell all of that. So whatever Lorne is saying, I mean, it is possible that he got the picture, but if he would have received that picture, it would have been because he was in a room where that kind of thing was going on, or he was talking to someone about something similar and they sent him the picture. But they didn't just randomly send him a picture of that, and then he just randomly happened to show up trying to have sex with children, and had done it before, and would do it now.
Never been through that, so I didn't know what to do. But I deleted it because I didn't want it on my computer. I didn't like what I saw.
And you didn't tell the police?
No, I didn't. I told them when I got arrested.
Oh yeah, for trying to have sex with a kid, of course.
Huh?
You're gonna find it on your computer. That's convenient.
Yeah, that's convenient. Isn't that convenient? That's convenient that I can.
Now that you had child porn that showed up to have sex with a kid, I would say that's pretty convenient.
That's convenient that I get involved in this sting, but before I'm ever even arrested, somehow this child porn just happens to get sent to my computer.
Lorne, listen to what you're saying. Because there's a thing called escalation where someone starts off as a peeping Tom in their red leather jacket, and then before you know it, they're breaking and entering when people aren't home, and then they're breaking and entering when people are home and assaulting people. There's escalation. So saying it's convenient that you had underage children on your computer and then you showed up escalating to actually follow through on it fits the fucking pattern. It's not convenient. You're just fitting it's standard shit, Lorne.
I think it's a bad subject for me and you to talk about anyway. Because
Probably.
We both.
I mean, they wouldn't need to send you child porn. You already fucked yourself by showing the decoy your penis.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, so they wouldn't need that.
But the child porn being on there, that would give a person extra years if they were to get charged for it.
Well, it's kind of convenient that you happen to click on a link and receive child porn. Child porn with your camera.
That is Xavier's thought process. Let's do some way to fuck him some more, and throw some child porn on the computer.
Brought your camera and tried to have sex with her. That's the big part.
I was wrong in what I did.
See, and right there, for all the good moments of the interview with Chris, there should have been better highlighting on what he needed a camera in the car. And now he wasn't going to talk when he got to the police station, but he would have come. I would have loved to have Chris ask him, because he was not taking that thing to a fucking pawn shop. And I've said it before, and I will maintain this. Lorne is very familiar with the rules of the pawn shop, just like he is with those fucking auction houses. And he would know the pawn shop is not going to take something that is not in resellable condition. You can't bring some shit with duct tape on it and expect to sell it. And he would know that. He had that camera for one fucking reason. And I wish it would have got brought up then, because he wouldn't be able to. It's like he's trying to convince himself that he had it there, and he went to 2 pawn shops. If he really felt that strongly about it, he would have some sort of footage from him at those pawn shops, and it wouldn't have taken him weeks and months to get it. He would have been able to get it if he really felt it was there.
That doesn't make any more right for Xavier.
And he was at a pawn shop. It was probably because he was trying to see if he could find a cheap silver bracelet that he didn't have to get at Walmart, because he does like to buy, what he thinks is nice jewelry more than he can afford. And he would go to a place like a pawn shop or an estate and got you this. You know how women are. They love silver gold. All of them.
You could have fucking child porn on a computer.
Xavier did anything. We just have the proof of the stuff you did.
Casey, he crashed all the perverted justice computers. Xavier did that.
Where's your proof?
I'm quite sure that Xavier admitted something about it when we were saying.
There's the proof, Lorne. You're just doing things with no proof.
He just said Xavier admitted it to him when we were sending text messages. So obviously someone was playing Lorne's foil, Xavier, and feeding Lorne information, and now Lorne believes this to be a fact. So I guess Xavier said when they showed up, he crashed all the computers at once, and so that's what Lorne believes.
So if we go back in my text from my old phone number, I'll have to see if I can do that.
So text messages are proof?
Yeah, I mentioned something to him about it when we were texting.
Oh, so that means that's proof, huh? Your feelings aren't proof. If there was child porn on their computers, it's because the pedophiles sent it.
Well, the only way to get it is to do research and go back.
Yeah, well, I think you should do research. You should hire a lawyer to go after Xavier and look how ridiculous you are.
Why? Why do you believe so much in Xavier?
The facts don't care about your feelings.
Why do you believe so much in Xavier?
Why do you hate him so much?
You know why?
You have no proof that he did anything wrong.
When he owns websites that say evil vigilante, he's evil against anything. He's not just child pedophiles.
He's not, guys, he's not just evil against child pedophiles. He is evil against everything. So you think about that before you go worshiping this man as your hero.
He's evil against anybody that doesn't agree with him.
Yeah.
It's a joke, dumbass. The title's a joke.
Huh?
The title's a joke. Because pedophiles kept going after him.
Why are you protecting him?
Why do you believe so much in him?
Hey, crispy critters.
Why don't you?
Because there's nothing to believe in. He's a fucking joke. He's saying how he's going to spend so much money on all these other things to help all these other people with all this other stuff, and $1.2 million blown. Spent on his little leather jacket and his expensive glasses he wears, or wore. He probably broke by now.
I love this little diatribe because, first of all, again, Lorne talking about someone in their use of finances. I mean, there's taxes. I think other people probably got some of the money. Did they use it to the best of their ability? Maybe not. And if you ask Xavier now, he might say that there were some opportunities missed there. They also didn't think that the show was going to be over so quickly, because from all signs it was a ratings monster, and it would have gone on for many more seasons. They would have come up with different iterations of it. So, probably like a lot of people who get money for the first time, they spent it and enjoyed it, and then all of a sudden it was over. But Lorne, I don't know if Xavier has a cement mixer, so you might actually have a leg up on that dude.
Where's your proof?
He's broke himself.
You're broke. We just looked at your account, idiot.
Boom.
You're
I didn't have $1.2 million and $100,000 per show to blow.
You don't know his bank account. Do you have access to his bank account? We have access to yours, and I can see right here that you're overdrawn $15,000.
Casey, Perverted Justice got paid $100,000 per show by NBC.
Okay.
To lure guys in any way that they possibly could.
You've got that proof.
Money talks.
You weren't lured. And yeah, you should have to have sex with a kid, and it's their job to catch people who do that. Were you Lord?
If I wouldn't have been in such a sad state, they never would have been able to get me to go there.
Are you saying you were Lord?
They went to extensive lengths to get people to go there.
So are you saying that they lured you?
I'm saying if I wasn't so weak-minded at the time, they never would have been able to get me to go there.
That's a statement. That's a statement about you, Lorne. You were weak-minded because you couldn't say no to a child. That's where your weak-mindedness came in, because let's say 990 out of 1,000 people, if contacted by a child online, would either ignore them or block them, report them in some way, but they don't respond sexually. And you had done it before. Yeah, like that's another thing. If he had never done it before, and he was one of these people saying I was in a dark place, and they believe that, and they want to believe, that's one thing. It's still wrong, but that's one thing. But this man has a history of it, an admitted history of it that this person knows about, and he's still trying to fucking lie.
So are you saying that they lured you to the sting house?
Casey, stop trying to get me to say stuff.
Did they lure you? Yes or no? Did they lure you? Were you lured?
You and I had already talked about this once.
Well, then it shouldn't be hard to say it again. Were you lured there?
I'm not talking about it again.
Okay. Are you saying you were lured by the promise of a 13-year-old girl? Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
I'm saying this is not a subject that you and I need to be talking about. How did we go from talking about this when we were
you mentioned luring people to the sting house, so I'm asking you, is that what you're saying?
How did we go to talking about this when we were talking about your beliefs in Alex?
You're the one who said they lured people. I don't know how we got here, but you said that they lured people. I'm saying, were you lured?
I'm not saying anything else. I'm not talking about it.
Then why did you mention that they lured people?
Because they did.
So you're saying you were lured?
I'm not talking about it, Casey.
Weird that you won't answer that question.
Yeah, it's weird that I won't answer that question. That's right.
Did they lure you?
They went through extensive lengths to get me to go there.
So they lured you?
Casey, stop trying to get me to say things.
And again, the extensive lengths they went through was creating a fictional character with a fictional background who fictionally cared about Lorne. And that's what he means. They went through great lengths. They created a person. They made him care about someone. And if he didn't care about that person, he wouldn't have wanted to have sex with them. So in his mind, he is still the victim. And they led him, and they got him with the thought crime because to him there was no actual victim. And those other people before didn't count because he wasn't caught doing those things. So he doesn't believe that any of what happened to him should have ever happened to him, and he is still the victim.
All right. What extensive lengths did they go through? What were the extensive lengths?
I'm not talking about it. Period.
I just love how loud the TV is on in the background. Like they're having this serious conversation about what he did and if he was lured, and in the background you dun dun, you just got Jurassic Park blaring in the background.
I take responsibility for going there myself because nobody else drove me. I drove me.
Okay.
I did the things that I did. Nobody forced to put a gun to my head. I did it.
So what you're saying is they didn't lure you, and they didn't go through any lengths to get you there. You did it all your own.
did it all on my own. No, you can never do anything all on your own like that.
Okay, so you're saying that they lured you and they went through lengths to get you there, but you won't say how they lured you, and you won't say what lengths they took.
Nope, because I don't need to talk about it any further. It's my responsibility to not go there.
So the victim is partially to blame. Is that what you're saying?
Huh?
And you'll notice there, he didn't say it was my responsibility not to talk to a child. He said it was my responsibility not to go there. That was where Lorne went wrong. And that's because whatever, I don't know if it might come out in a few minutes, but the thing about the lawyer saying you can talk and that's fine. He's
Well, nobody's going to talk to themselves and say, okay, I'm going to go there because this person's, well, actually, they're nuts in the head.
You started talking sexually to her right away, and you showed your dick within an hour and a half of talking to her. So what lengths did they go to lure you?
Casey, why do you feel like you need to rehash my whole situation on that?
So you started talking sexually to her within an hour, showing your dick within an hour.
Casey.
How did they lure you? And what length did they go to?
Why do you feel you need to rehash my case all over again?
Because you brought it up. I just want to know the lengths they went to and if you were lured. That's all I'm asking.
If they would have stopped talking to me, I would have stopped talking.
So what were the lengths then? And how did they lure you?
I'll talk about it when you're in person if you want.
Because, I mean, you sent her offline and told her.
She's trying to have a conversation about Lorne and her concerns about him being a predator and talk about these things. And he said, I'll talk. Lorne, I don't think she wants to talk with you in person until she gets these things out in the open. It's pretty important. So like trying to withhold it, like it's you'll wait to share the details of the treasure map. This is shit you're going to need to be open with. If you're ever going to be in a relationship, you're going to need to be as open with it as that person needs, because they have to be comfortable around you, and the stipulations and the restrictions that come with being with someone on the RSO.
Good morning. So you sent her offline messages and you said good morning to her before she said anything. So they weren't like talking to you to get you to say anything.
I send you good mornings every morning. So what's your point on that one?
That is the point.
The point is that they didn't have to stop talking for you to stop talking. They weren't talking to you to get you to keep talking. You initiated
they were. Yes, they were.
All right. Well, who was doing it more? Because you would say you get my offlines.
No, that wasn't. Honestly, that was me. I did most of the talking.
Exactly, you did. You could have ignored her.
I know.
I was wrong.
I was wrong, Casey. You're rehashing something that I already know that I was wrong in doing. It was my fault for going there.
Right. So you weren't right.
It doesn't mean that they were right in everything that they did.
But we're not talking about them.
They had a lot of incentive to do what they did.
You could have ignored her, Molly, and Melissa. What they did is irrelevant. Because all they had to do was put a little girl in a room and you talk to her. You as the adult should not have talked to her.
I know.
It doesn't matter if they beg you constantly. You have the power to ignore people.
At the time, I didn't have much of my own power at all.
Aww.
Oh, you did, though.
Well, believe me, at the time, I didn't have much
power.
So
then you were dangerous.
I was. I needed something to happen to me to to be able to get my head straightened out. But I didn't need
You
that.
kept pushing the sexual talk. If you couldn't control yourself, then you should have been locked up and expelled quickly, so you got what you deserved.
I should have been locked up, or I should have gone to see a counselor or something.
After the stuff you showed with your consent, you should have been thrown.
Who needs a counselor? Lorne should have went and got a counselor. He has a counselor.
I can tell you're a therapist. I know.
He's talking to his counselor right now. And that's the other. Obviously, that's going to be a big sticking point with Lorne, and a big reason why his failure to accept what he did is because Lorne feels like he was unjustly punished for his actions. He's probably looked at similar cases from people who have an actual victim in that case. I mean, like I did a video on my other channel about someone who had 4 or 5 victims, actual victims, and kept getting released, and he got 10 years in prison. So Lorne is looking at people who had actual victims, and they're getting as much or less time than him. So he feels like he was unjustly punished. So he will never accept what he did, because in his mind, he got the raw end of the deal. Everyone else got it. So they owe him versus him owing anything. Yes, in his mind, he was in the wrong, but not enough to where he should have lost so much of his life, and his life will never be the same again after that. So he's just angry. And so his revenge is not finishing his class because he's not going to give them the satisfaction.
In prison for the rest of your life.
You what?
Casey.
After the stuff you sent, and the stuff you said, you definitely should have been locked up.
You said I should go into prison for the rest of my life.
You can talk to a counselor while you're in prison.
All right, guys. So I got a dating tip for the men's in the crowd. Listen up. I got an alpha dating tip for you. If the woman you are dating says that you should currently be in prison for life, you probably don't have a good relationship. It's probably time to get out of that relationship. Because if you're in prison right now, then you guys probably wouldn't be together. And I don't. She doesn't sound sad about that. She doesn't sound sad about that at all.
Okay, see, there's something that my lawyer said from the beginning that has always stuck in my head.
Okay.
And a person can talk all they want. It's when they do the action of their talk.
You can't talk sexually to a child. That's not true.
No, yeah, you can. That's what the law is. That came from my lawyer.
The law is you're allowed to talk sexually to a child.
So I don't know what the state law was back then. Some states didn't have that rule. I don't know if it was had the law caught up with the internet at that point. I don't know if it had. So was it possible that in the state Lorne was that sexual communication online wouldn't have been deemed illegal? Like I know they went to the reason why the show ended was because they went to a dude's house who didn't even show up at the house, but was sending sexual images and stuff. So, and again, so Lorne heard it from this lawyer, and so Lorne's nightmares aren't about him first talking to Kayla, or he doesn't regret the fake relationship or what he did. It's just the fact that he got in his car and drove to the Sting house. That's what he regrets. Because if he didn't do that, he'd probably still be out there offending right now, doing the same shit in the country music room somewhere.
That's what my lawyer said. You can talk all you want until you act on it. That's when it becomes criminal.
So then your lawyer needs to be locked up too.
Well, that's
and you did act on it.
He's just following what the law says.
Okay, well then you did act on it because you showed her your penis and you went to the house.
Exactly.
Yeah, I showed my penis and I went to the house. What did I do at the house?
On it.
What did I do at the house?
You tried to have sex with me.
I did. See, my memory is different. I sat in a chair and asked for a kiss.
And I don't ordinarily get mad at Lorne, but this shit right here, like to hear he thinks this is the actual fucking decoy. This is Casey. This is the person who was there when you got arrested. He's arguing with her about the intent of why he was there. Arguing with her about I didn't get a kiss and being a little whiny bitch, begging her for some attention, not even realizing this is not at all the person or the personality of the person he talked to before, but he just needed some reinsurance that they were going to be hooking up this weekend. That was what his concern was.
I sat in the chair and I asked for a kiss.
Yeah.
That's my memory on
You
it.
asked the child for a kiss.
Yeah.
You had condoms in the truck. You bought me a gift. You sent pictures of your dick.
I was supposed to bring pizza too. Did I bring any pizza?
And Lorne knew that he was not supposed to bring pizza. He knew they got that wrong, but he was going to latch onto that to say, look, they were incorrect about that. So maybe they were incorrect that I was there to have sex. So you're right, Lorne, because they got the pizza wrong, but the camera and the bracelet and the condoms, those don't equal anything, right?
You actually weren't supposed to bring pizza.
I had a camera in my truck too. You
Yeah.
know what that camera was for?
You put a camera in the truck, and I remember in the chat log you wanted to take pictures of your dick inside her pussy.
Yeah, I didn't remember that.
Well, I can quote up if you remember it.
You know why that camera was in the truck?
Because you wanted to take pictures of your dick inside a little girl. You said it to her.
No, I don't remember saying it. And I forgot the camera was even in there.
No.
But
wait, how did he say he forgot? Didn't he say that he was on the way there? And when he was talking to Tiffany Lockhart, didn't he say that on the way to the Sting house, he stopped at 2 pawn shops and told his lawyer that?
They taking that camera to 3 different pawn shops because I needed money.
Sure.
Well, I did. Every one of those pawn shops had cameras inside of them.
Then you should read that one again, because in there you say you want to see a picture of your dick inside her vagina. You said that?
No.
Yeah, I bet you wouldn't.
Then why would I want to go back and remember that shit?
Because it would show you that everything.
I don't like that I said it, Casey.
Well, then shut up about it.
Well, I didn't mention it. You did.
You did.
I did not.
You were talking shit about perverted justice until we got here.
All right. Well, let's just get off that subject. Maybe that's a subject that you and I need to stay away from because we were both had something to do with that sting.
I mean, 2 things. First of all, let's never be able to speak about how we first came into contact with each other is the basis for a good relationship. And number 2 is the way he said that, he's saying it like it was a shameful thing for both of them. That the whole To Catch a Predator, because of how it ended, which he's going to take as, it was a bad show. Look how it ended. Look what they did to Louis Conrad. Like they were all awful people. Casey, you were involved in ruining people's lives. So like we shouldn't talk about this because we both did wrong. Like you took part in this awful thing, setting people up and luring people, and you didn't have to do that. But so let's just not discuss how we were wrong and where we met.
What roles did each of us play in that?
Huh?
It's very fucking important to talk about. And what roles did we play? I was a little girl decoy. You were a predator.
We were both at the sting. Maybe that's a subject that we should stay away from, is the sting.
I don't know. It sounded like he was about to say we were both predators because he feels like he was preyed on.
But what were our reasons for being there, Lorne?
I know what my reason was for being there was for. I don't need it to be rehashed all the time. Are you paying attention to me, or are you looking into something else again?
Messaging Steve McRae.
I'm listening to you. Because it looks like you're excusing what you did, saying it's okay to talk to a kid. You clearly don't think you did anything wrong. You made that very clear tonight.
No, I know that I did something wrong. And I know I deserve what I did wrong. I deserve to get the time for it. Part of my life was very fucked up. And my head was very fucked up.
Would probation agree it's okay for you to talk sexually to a kid?
No, Casey, I'm not okay to talk sexually to a kid. I don't agree with that either. The law says that it's not illegal to. That's what the law says. That's what my lawyer told me. The law is the one that is saying that, not me.
Then your lawyer's a fucking retard because it says right here, it is illegal for an adult to knowingly contact or communicate with a minor in order to engage in specified illegal activities with or against the minor.
I know you want to believe that Xavier is this innocent person that hasn't done anything wrong, but he has. Do you realize that NBC was not supposed to be working in coordination with law enforcement? If NBC was working in coordination with law enforcement, then it would have been considered entrapment.
No.
Yeah.
That's what you want to believe.
They were running parallel investigations, and they made it very clear they weren't working in conjunction. They were running an investigation, and Dateline was there to record the investigation, which was why Perverted Justice would be deputized when need be. So they weren't working for Dateline. They were working for the police department, and Dateline was just there to record the events. The person who was being interviewed was not being interviewed in the police capacity, but in the capacity of an ongoing news story.
No, that's the way it is.
You're so fucking retarded.
Casey.
I just read you the law.
Okay, so if I was Alex Jones and I told you that, what would you say?
Oh, anymore. Go fuck yourself.
Wait, oh no, hold on, Casey. Hold on, Casey. You're so full of answers, but when he asked you a legitimate question, if Alex Jones wanted to have to have sex with children, would you have a problem with that? All of a sudden, you're telling him to go fuck himself. Answer the question, Casey.
Why? Because I'm not Alex Jones? If I was Alex Jones and said that to you, would you say you're so fucking retarded? You wouldn't, would you? What'd you do, hang up on me? Apparently so.
That was a bully way. That was a bully way to end that call, Blue Boy. So put $1 in the bully bowl. Put one more for making Lorne face the harsh reality of who he is and what he's about. And then right after this call, he would forget all about it. That shit just in one ear and out the other. He can admit to being a predator. He can admit to having sexual desires for children, but at the same time could feel like he did nothing wrong and what he did should have been fine as long as he didn't actually go to the house. So he can abuse as many children as he wants online, like the other teenagers he had spoken to, but actually showing up outside of the carnival where he was just going to look at her, apparently, that's where you get into trouble. That's where he should have drawn the line in his mind.
No, it wasn't that long ago you're sleeping.
No. I was looking forward to talk to you.
Oh, what about?
So hear your sexy voice.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. So, I used to masturbate on the toilet too.
Now, see, this is when you know the call is starting off. This is when you know that the call is going to be a good one. When you're 32 seconds in and someone starts talking about masturbating into a toilet.
What?
I'm telling you some stuff about me. I said I used to masturbate at the toilet too.
When?
Earlier, like 5 minutes ago.
Actually, I did it. Well, even when I was a kid, because
Lorne.
it didn't make a mess, and I could just flush it. I did it for a long time.
What?
I did it for a long time, right up until I don't know, probably 10 years or so ago. Then I realized,
This man was in his 40s masturbating into his toilet to minimize cleanup.
Not if I used condoms, I'd
Sorry.
have to stand at the toilet and do whatever I want to do.
In the kitchen.
Wait a minute. So he would stand at the toilet. He would stand at the toilet and masturbate into the toilet. And then he was like, hold on, stupid ass. Put a condom on. Then you can do it wherever you want. And also, then it's just like tying up a water balloon and throwing it away. Dummy, hello. Or you rinse it out under the sink with some warm water, flip it out, put it on like the end of a wooden spoon or something, stick it up, and so it can dry out, and then you reuse it. So Lorne is the smart one.
No, I could do it in bed if I wanted to.
Well, can't you do it in bed without a condom?
Yeah, but then it'd be mess.
What kind of mess are you making?
Yeah, but why use a condom? You can't feel anything.
Yeah, you can. You can feel the difference with a condom versus without one.
Well, yeah, I have to feel better without one. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, with a condom makes you come faster.
The condom makes you come faster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How?
Just because of the feeling of it being on your cockhead. Like going back and forth and rubbing against the cockhead makes you come faster. Plus it squeezes it.
Wouldn't rubbing your cockhead without the condom feel better on your cockhead?
Casey, you stupid girl. Back in the dating days, I remember you're begging a woman, please allow me to use a prophylactic, and they're like, no. And so you begrudgingly have to go without raw daddy, as they used to call it. So you guys know.
Wouldn't what? Say it again.
Hey, rubbing your cockhead without a condom on your cockhead, wouldn't that feel better on your cockhead?
Without the condom?
Yeah.
No, it's with the condom.
I'm saying, wouldn't it feel better without a condom? Wouldn't it make you come if you didn't have a condom on?
No, because with the condom on, it makes you feel like your cock is more in a pussy. Because it's actually touching something, rubbing against something.
Yeah.
Well, isn't it rubbing against your hand?
No.
Stupid. Casey.
So when a guy jacks off, he's got his skin that strokes back and forth on his dick, and he doesn't have to touch his cockhead. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, wouldn't it feel more like a vagina if you didn't? I'm very confused.
Casey, listen. You may be the expert to school you on how to masturbate his male penis. Think he knows a little bit better than you.
No, it wouldn't feel more like a vagina because if the condom wasn't there,
it would just feel like a hand.
You wouldn't have any feeling against the cockhead.
Well, your hand.
Even your hand, you wouldn't have the feeling of your hand because your hand wouldn't be touching your cockhead.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
Be touching
Why
the shaft.
not?
Because your hand touches the shaft and strokes the shaft.
So then what does the condom do to your cockhead?
It puts a feeling against your cockhead so that when you stroke your shaft, it's more actually moving the condom itself too, even on the head of the cock. So you get feeling on the head of the cock too.
Hey, Pee-wee's Dog Pound.
Is your dick that big that you can't reach your cockhead with your hand?
Even Lorne had to laugh at that.
Or your hand?
Yeah, you're not gonna stroke the cockhead.
Why not?
Because the cockhead is up top.
Yeah,
When
remember?
you're stroking the cock, you're just stroking the shaft.
Well, why not stroke your cockhead?
Because the cockhead is at the head of the cock. It's not the shaft. On the shaft is it's can't say loose because the skin's all loose, but it's got the skin has mobility on the shaft.
Casey, it's really hard to explain. Have Alex Jones come over and have him get his penis out, and I'll walk him through it.
On the cockhead, it doesn't. So you're not stroking the cockhead. It's just the shaft that you're stroking.
Get it?
Well, I'm saying, why don't you stroke your cockhead?
Because you can't stroke the cockhead. Well, you can. You can rub it, but you're not stroking it though.
Well, then why don't you rub it?
Why do I need to do that?
Because it would save you from buying condoms.
Yeah, but it wouldn't save me from the mess.
You don't
And
have
and it feels better. It feels better with a condom on too, because it feels more like it's in a pussy.
How does it feel more like it's in a pussy?
Feels more like it's in a pussy because it's actually touching something. You see what I'm saying?
Because it's touching something.
Right.
Like you mean because like the condom's touching it, that makes it feel like a pussy?
A buzzy. What's a buzzy?
What's a buzzy?
What you're saying. That's how you keep saying pussy.
Pussy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, my speech wasn't that good for a minute. When the cockhead goes into a pussy, it's touching the walls of the pussy.
Okay. Which would...
And that's what it feels like with a condom on.
So a vagina feels like a latex condom?
No, a vagina feels better.
A vagina feels like warm, wet air. Casey, are you even listening to any of the calls we're having? Or are you just busy watching Alex Jones on mute?
Well, so as long as your cockhead is touching anything, is that make it feel like you're in a pussy?
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say buzzy. You can stop calling it buzzy. And no, it's just because the condom is up against the cockhead. That's why it feels more like it's in the pussy than without the condom. You see what I'm saying?
Well, now I'm curious what a pussy feels like, because if it feels like a condom, that's very weird.
No, it feels a lot better than a condom. It feels a lot better than a condom, and it's a different feeling than a condom.
Like his real life sounds like a Dateline excuse. Were the condoms in the truck? Yes, but I use them to masturbate. Excuse me? I use them to masturbate. Lorne, I'm supposed to believe that you're here to meet a no, really, because it feels like a buzzy. and he has this conversation with, and no one believes him. But this shit is true. This man goes to the store. He has it on his list. His grocery list has like that cheap, loose budding lunch meat, the generic white bread, 1 gallon of milk, and a box of condoms so that he can go home and touch himself.
The condom is touching the cockhead, so it gives the condom gives it more feeling than there was no condom on. The pussy, it feels there's no better feeling than a cock being in a pussy.
There's no better feeling in the world.
Not really.
Oh.
As in a physical feeling, no. But
Yeah, keep going.
it also matters with the pussy too.
Okay.
I've had sex with some women that didn't even know the difference. Some women that they could tell the difference, that it was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
They said what was really nice?
The sex.
The pussy really nice.
They said their pussy nice?
Baloney.
The pussy felt really nice. I've had sex with some women that the pussy, you couldn't even tell that it was inside of them.
You had sex with women and they couldn't tell the pussy was inside of them?
No,
And you know, Lorne thinks when he's saying that, he's making an indictment on these women, but really, it's an indictment on him. Because like, even if what he was saying was true, what he's trying to say is that these were all loose women. But then, Lorne, you're saying that you were just going around sleeping with a bunch of loose women. What does that say about you're slut shaming? But Lorne, that makes you a slut. It's just weird. But I mean, we know it's because he has a tiny little pecker.
your cock was inside the pussy. I couldn't tell that my cock was inside some of the pussy because the pussy wasn't.
The pussy.
Every pussy is different.
Oh, this sounds like a song. See, this sounds like where then it would go into like a Sesame Street type song, right? Every pussy's different with like little ding ding. Yeah, I'll work on it.
Does that make sense?
I'm gonna work on that.
Repeat the whole thing.
No.
I was trying to close my windows because the stupid neighbor's dog.
Every pussy is different.
Mm-hmm.
I've had sex with some women that
every pussy is different. Big ones, black ones, send them on back ones. It could be like a Dr. Seuss book. Who wants to help me write my Dr. Seuss book? Are there any white supremacists who can help me illustrate my Dr. Seuss style book called Every Pussy's Different?
The pussy was very loose, and it was like I couldn't even tell that I had sex with him. That my cock had been inside the pussy.
Dick and like a huge gaping hole. You couldn't feel anything.
That's what some of it felt like. And some of them, you could tell that it was
Gorba.
It was really nice feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Want me to give you an example?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay. Paula wasn't that good. I really couldn't even tell that I was inside of her. A woman.
I mean, if you've had sex with so many women where you couldn't feel that you were inside of them, Lorne, again, you would maybe think that was you, right? Not that it was every woman that you've been with, or the majority of women that you've been with. That there's something you're doing wrong. You might just be kind of like rubbing on the belly button. They don't want to say anything.
Named Carrie that Paula did not like, just because I had sex with her. She was really good.
What made her really good?
I could feel that I was inside of her.
Oh, okay.
With Paula, I couldn't feel that I was inside of Paula.
Oh, but you loved her. What?
At all?
Yeah, really, at all. I mean, that's
like
how.
You were humping the air.
Basically, like I was humping warm air, warm wet air.
Warm air.
Warm wet air.
Stupid. Come on, listen.
That's about the same feeling.
So, like, you were just, like, thrusting in the humidity of outside?
Pretty much.
Got that Florida dick. Got that Biloxi, Mississippi dick.
That was pretty much the feeling.
Yeah.
And then, what did the good one feel like?
Warmer.
I could feel that I was inside her. I could
warmer, wetter air.
There's completely different feelings. She was warm, she was wet, but I could actually feel that I was a lot better than it was with Paulo. I had a lot of fun with Carrie.
Casey has dumb questions, guys. There's like 95 people here and 32 likes. Help me out.
Crime, spies are listening. Thought crime to what you're typing. Thought crime, paranoia sing. Be careful what you say. Thought crime, written evidence. Thought crime, made.
Thank you, Josie.
More fun.
Huh?
What made it more fun?
I don't know. We had a lot more fun, so we ended up on the floor.
I said, what made it more fun?
I think because with Carrie, I wasn't in love with Carrie. I didn't go through the crap that I went through with Paula. And after going through the crap I did with Paula, it made it not as much fun anyway.
But like what made the act more fun?
Because I could feel that I was inside of her. And I could tell that she could feel it.
But you didn't do like any different.
And I could tell that she could feel it. I mean, Lorne, I can't think of a better way for you to sell your sexual prowess, your experience as a man, to say that it was good, because I could tell that she could feel it, if you know what I mean, this time.
Like positions or anything?
No.
Damn, girl, how would you like a 50-50 shot of maybe feeling what sex feels like with me? And 50-50 meaning you might not feel it at all.
Well, what position?
Just me on top of her. Well, with me and Carrie, I was on top of her. Then we wound up on the edge of the bed, and
this didn't happen.
And she wound upside down, and I was halfway off the bed, and then we wound up on the floor.
You were already on the floor.
What do you mean? What do you mean you were halfway off the bed?
We were literally halfway off the bed. She kept moving. She kept moving as I kept going, and she kept moving sideways and then backwards, and she wound up halfway off the bed, and I wound up halfway off the bed.
It sounds to me like she was trying to scoot the fuck away.
Bed. She was upside down, and I was still halfway off the bed. And then we wound up on the floor.
Then the police came.
Why didn't you guys just stop for a second and get back on the bed?
Because it was too much fun.
Why was it fun?
It was. Just because we were having too much fun. It was just what we were doing was too much fun.
Really nice, Lorne. You'll notice another thing that Lorne doesn't do that I believe he would if he had ever had sex would be he never talks about like, oh, when she climaxed this many times, or she's like it never even comes up. Does he even know that happens? Is he aware that's a thing? or does it just happen once and that's it? Like for him, he's done for the night. So it's either zero experience, like I believe, even though, like, I mean, just being being in basic training and then going to tech school in the Air Force, I don't see how you could be a virgin, Lorne. But I mean, I believe it. I believe this man has zero experience. Warm, wet air.
It was too much fun to stop.
Well, why was that like more fun than just being on the bed?
Because it wanted to make us both laugh.
Yeah. Comedy
Couldn't
sex.
believe that we wound up off the bed.
And then you just fell to the floor?
Yep.
And then what?
Then we got back up on the bed and started going for it again.
I thought you didn't stop. And first she said they just kept going because it was too much fun. And then she said, so you just fell on the floor? Yep. Then what? Then we got back on the bed. Which one is it? Lauren, get your life straight.
What's the best sex you've ever had?
Here we go.
The best sex I ever had.
Shouldn't take that long, Lauren.
I can say that was probably with Gretchen.
And Gertrude.
She's the one that lasted 2 hours. Literally.
Or
Yeah, literally 2 hours straight.
how do you have sex for 2 hours? Sounds horrible.
It wasn't horrible. It was fun.
Well, what did you do for 2 hours?
Just had sex.
Well, I know. That's what you just said. I'm saying, what did you do for 2 hours?
Sexual positions.
We literally just had sex. That's all we did was fuck.
I know, but like, how? How for 2 hours? Like, what did you do?
I'd be on top of her, and she'd be on top of me. We switch positions. We'd do different positions.
What I don't like about this call, I don't like that Casey's questioning Lauren's ability to have sex for 2 hours. Lauren is a prime athlete. You guys do know the reason why he didn't have friends in schools, because he stopped playing basketball. Like, the man is a prime. If anyone is going to have sex for 2 hours, it's Sting and then Lorne.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Like, what positions? Like, what did you do?
Both of them. Both positions.
I'd be on top of her. I'd be over her. I'd have her legs in the air. She'd turn around and do a doggy style.
I just love the doggy style. It sounds like an old man trying to order porn over the phone. They're having a thing with the doggy style. I love the doggy style, the way the bodies slap on each other.
I'd lay down. She'd get on top of me. She'd be facing me. Then she'd do it not facing me.
Most of it was not facing him.
How did it take 2 hours?
Because I was able to maintain a hard-on for 2 hours that night.
Well, I mean, he definitely said that like someone who I was able to maintain a hard-on for 2 hours that night. That definitely sounds like someone who had sex for 2 hours.
I think it was because I was turned on by her, but I was partially turned off by her too.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a couple weekends before that, she started hitting on me. Then a friend of mine came in that she knew.
Okay.
And she wound up sleeping with him.
Mm-hmm.
That night instead of me, and that kind of turned me off.
All right. So here's what happened. It was an Eskimo brother thing. So Lorne was excited about the fact that his friend had sex with her, but not excited about the fact that he was having sex with her. He just said it incorrectly. So that's what it was. He was mad because while he was trying to picture his friend, he was looking at this woman in front of him who was not his friend. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know how you could say the best sex you ever had. You were half turned on and half turned off. That's what, but you were able to stay hard for 2 hours because you weren't enjoying the sex. He does not know how sex works. Is this how a sex works? No, Lorne, that is a broken sex.
And so then a couple couple weeks later when her and I did get together, I was half turned on and half turned off.
Yeah, that's a mid turn.
So the best sex you've ever had was with a woman that turned you off.
Yeah, it was the best sex.
Yeah, just
physically,
not the.
So what? You just had like half a little boner?
Huh? No, I didn't have half a boner.
Full boner.
I just the way that I felt because of what she did a couple weeks before. That turned me off.
Yeah.
My feelings about the type of woman that she was turned me off.
Type of woman that she hooked up with you.
To what?
So if she hooks up with you, it's fine. But if she hooks up with anyone else, that's a turn off.
No, it's the way that she did it. She started out hitting on me that night until my friend showed up, and she knew him. And
If he was better looking than you or something.
no, just she knew him. She knew him, and
Mm-hmm.
I guess she wanted to sleep with him before. He had told me about it after that she'd always wanted to sleep with him, and that night he didn't know that she was hitting on me before he came in. Till I told him. Did I what?
Did you cry when you found out?
No, I wound up sleeping with someone else that night.
No, you didn't.
And the night there, and I did sleep together, a friend for her friend. And I said, yeah, and there was another friend of mine there, and he wound up sleeping with her friend. We went over to his dorm, and his neighbor wasn't in the dorm room, wasn't there. I guess was on leave or something, but he wasn't there, and they had adjoining rooms with a bathroom in between, just like a hotel room. There's two dorm rooms with a bathroom in between. And so me and Gretchen went over to his neighbor's room while him and Gretchen.
All right, so that is accurate. That was how our Air Force dorms were set up. It was two rooms with the bathroom adjoining, but that shit was locked from both sides. You weren't just going into someone else's room. And if your first sergeant inspected your room and you left that shit open, you would get in a lot of trouble because you guys could be leaving those open so that when you knew you were going to get inspected, you could be hiding shit in other rooms. So that did not happen. I don't believe that happened.
Gretchen's friend stayed right in his room. I'll tell you something that you wanted me to tell you that I've never told anybody.
Oh.
Even up to this day, I've never told anybody.
I pee in my hand.
Nobody from Church of God, and I mean, literally nobody.
Oh man. What could it be? Let's find out. Let's find out right now. Then after this is going to be the final call. Then I added a couple of the class assignments before we close out. We close out for the day.
I'll tell you something that you wanted me to tell you that I've never told anybody. Even up to this day, I've never told anybody. Nobody from Church of God, and I mean, literally nobody. The first time I ever came was when I was 12 years old. And I had a wet dream. I woke up in the morning, and back then I wore tighty whities. And I woke.
Is it weird that everything that he's thought to tell her about what he's never told anyone else is like some weird experience? Like, he's talking about wet dreams and getting kisses from girls in the basketball court, and it's also strange. These are the only things he could think of that he hadn't told someone before. Lorne, there's things you did with some of those females who you were talking to online that you have never told anyone. They're probably looking more for something like that. Not this shit. Not you jacking off in toilets.
Woke up and I remember I put my hands in my underwear to adjust my pecker, and then all of a sudden I felt the wet, sticky stuff in my underwear.
There you go.
I pulled my underwear and I was confused at what the hell it was. How the hell it happened. I didn't know what it was. I thought something was wrong with me. But I was embarrassed because it was down by my pecker. So I took my underwear off and I threw them in the trash. I took a shower. And never told anybody about it.
You didn't tell your mom?
Nope. Literally nobody. You're the first one that I've ever told about that.
Right now he's feeling accomplished. Right now he feels like he finally did it. He finally gave her some information that she wanted. He could sit back, and she's going to be thankful for that, because he just shared something for him that was like a huge thing. The first time he had nocturnal emissions. And I hope that they get that inscribed on like an ID bracelet or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember.
Like it was yesterday.
Waking up and being confused at that.
Fuchs.
You know what was happening.
What's your wet dream about?
I don't know. I don't remember. I just remember waking up and that happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that I took my underwear off and threw them in the trash and getting in the shower and never telling anybody. I was embarrassed. But that's something that I've literally never told anybody else about.
I mean, Lorne is acting like this is a big deal. He asked a 13-year-old if she would pop a pimple on his ass, didn't he? That wasn't off limits to him. So I don't feel like this is as groundbreaking as he believes it is.
Quite literally.
Quite literally.
So now you definitely know something about me that nobody knows.
Yeah, that you came your pants when you were 12.
There's a little more to it than that, you know.
What do you mean?
What is there more to it?
Was it poop?
Because of the embarrassment that I had and never telling anybody about it.
Well, who would you tell?
Well, you asked if I not even my mom. Well, no, I was embarrassed.
Well, you said because you didn't know what was wrong. You said you thought something was wrong with you. So I said, well, why didn't you go tell your mom that there's something wrong with you?
No. And no, I was embarrassed because it was in that area. And I was confused about it. Didn't know until
He should have went to sleep with a condom on.
Years down the road.
I mean, you didn't know till years down the road.
Until I learned about wet dreams, and I realized that's what that was. But growing up in my house was, in ways, it was difficult because Mom and Dad didn't really talk about sex. They didn't teach me anything about sex.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they never sat down and had any talk with me or anything like that. It was my sister and her husband that actually sat me down when I was
That is evolving, you know.
17 and taught me about the sex.
What did they teach you?
It's not so great.
They taught me about female anatomy and male anatomy and explained about the eggs and sperm. And,
oh my God.
they didn't even teach that in school back at that time.
And what did she teach you?
Mom never taught me anything about sex.
So your sister.
My sister and it was more my sister's husband that taught me, because he got a book out and taught me and explained different things to me, and he had my sister when he needed help explaining something. She was there about the female anatomy.
So this is why Lorne knows nothing about the female. This was probably the only conversation outside of whatever sexual conversations he had when he found the internet, but this was probably the only actual conversation that he had about someone that involved like the reproductive system and the parts of a woman's body. And because his sister was in charge of the woman conversation, the female side of that, she was probably uncomfortable talking to Lorne about certain things. So he has very limited knowledge of things he got from his sister's husband and his sister, and that was it. And I think he said he was 17 years old. And so that was the one and only time, and he never had any curiosity to learn on his own.
To help him explain it.
You didn't know anything by the age of 17?
I knew some stuff, but I didn't know that much in detail, like they explained it to me.
And you said that was rough on your childhood?
Yeah, there was a lot of things that was. I led a very sheltered life when I was a kid. Mom and Dale was old-fashioned, and both of them were very old-fashioned.
Well, did you want them to like just be banging each other on the sofa? Like, what did you want?
No. Usually a parent would sit down and have a sex talk with them, with their kid. They never had that with me. It was almost like they were embarrassed to talk about sex.
And you wanted your mom and dad to tell you about sex?
Well, I wanted somebody to explain it to me more than what I knew about it. It would have been nice, even if it was my older brother. It would have been nice if he would have explained it to me.
Who's going to explain it now?
Mom and Dale slept in different rooms, separate ends of the halls, because they both.
This is another really weird thing he's about to say.
Snored loud, and Mom slept on one end of the house, and I had the bedroom right in the middle, and Dale slept on the other end. And this was after the middle, and so it's like I would always go to bed at 8 o'clock, because if I didn't, I wouldn't get to sleep.
So is he saying because they slept in separate rooms, they didn't have sex, so he didn't have any sex to hear, to witness? Because what difference would it make if they were sleeping in the same room? That's such a weird thing to bring up. So he believes because they weren't sleeping in a room together at night that they couldn't be having sex. So that's why they couldn't have a sex talk with them, because they weren't sleeping in a bed at night. Where else are you gonna have sex? When else are you gonna have sex? During the day, like when people aren't home, out in the car somewhere.
And I was always the first one to wake up at 5 o'clock. And that was for probably the last 3 years of me going to school, me right up till I was 18, moved out.
What's the point of the story?
The point of the story was because they didn't have sex. They had sex before, but there were years that they went without having sex.
How do you know
How
that?
do you know?
Well, I don't know for sure, but you know, I was never aware of them having sex.
All right, you kids stay out here and finish up this episode of Hee Haw. Me and your mom are gonna go bang. Like, why would you know that, Lorne?
And you wanted to know if they were?
No, I did not want to know if they were.
It'd be nice.
I wanted them
Yeah,
to
go ahead.
teach me about sex like they should have done. Instead of me waiting till I was 17 and my brother-in-law wound up teaching me.
17.
Didn't your parents have the sex talk with you?
No.
What did you do, learn in school?
I learned it by having sex.
No. Well.
That is not the answer that Lorne wanted to hear. She learned on the job, Lorne. Shit. She learned by doing, and you learned by sitting on your brother-in-law's lap and him going through a book with you, and your sister coming over when even he had questions. He's like, you know what, Lorne, that's a good question, honey. How many clits do you have? So I mean, God, I just can't even believe it. And Casey's out here learning by having sex, even though really Casey's at the age where Casey would learn about this stuff in school. And I don't know, because Lorne is he would have graduated in like 89 or something, right? Somewhere around there. They had biology as a requirement. I mean, I thought it was national. I thought that you had to at least they would teach not safe sex, but in some areas they would teach abstinence, but they would teach you about the fucking body and how the female body works, and you would split up your class, and the boys would. It was even a plot line on the Wonder Years, which was set in the 50s. They separated the class, and the boys would learn about this, and the girls, and then they combine everyone together. It was a whole thing.
I didn't.
I mean, what are they supposed to get? Like, you want like a diagram? I don't understand.
That's literally what my brother did. He pulled out a diagram and showed me. By doing that, I explained. I understood it a lot more.
Well, what didn't you understand about it?
Well, I knew what sex was. I knew.
Well,
I knew sticking pecker in the vagina was having sex, but I didn't know the small things about it.
Like what?
So, like what? What didn't you know? You wanted to know where babies came from?
I wanted to know more in detail about it, like exactly how everything worked, and how the woman had to be fertile in order to have a baby, and how the seed went up into the woman and met with the egg and formed a baby.
The seed goes up with the woman, meets the egg. He left out the introduction. They say, "How do you do?" There's a brief courtship dance, and if the egg is willing and the seed is matching is a matching code, then they form a baby. And like 6 to 7 minutes later, boom, baby.
Okay, so you did not know how they were made.
I knew how babies are made. It's just I wasn't quite sure of.
Well, because it wasn't really that much detail. I feel like anyone would have known that.
There were just things that I didn't understand quite clear, and that they helped me understand more clear.
And he forgot.
Does that make sense?
Just imagine how clueless Lorne was before that talk with his brother-in-law and his sister. Oh my God. He would have been so if this is what he knows now, 17-year-old Lorne was dumb as fuck. So dumb. Because you just think 20 years prior to Lorne being in high school at 17, he could have been preparing to go off to war. Like, people were going to war, at 18 years old, and this man had to have his brother-in-law sit down with him and teach him how babbies are formed.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Good. I like that you could teach me.
First time I had sex was with Denise when I was 19. She was 29.
Oh.
Yep. She was actually a grade ahead of my oldest brother in school. They knew each other from school. So it felt a little odd to me, but well, it was different because where my brother seemed so much older to me all my life, that I was actually dating somebody that was a year older than he was at the
Oh
time.
my God.
So it seemed really odd to me. It felt odd.
Why did it feel odd?
Just because she was so much older than because I was only 19. And I think that's why it felt so much odd, so much more odd, because she was 29. So it's like she was 10 years older than I was. And at the time, that was a big deal at the time. It felt odd to her too, because she had a son that was 11.
And that felt odd. Why?
Because of the age difference. Because where I was only 19, and she actually had 3 sons, but her oldest one was 11. And so that's why it felt so odd to her, because of my age, and it felt odd to me because of her age, because her being so much older than me.
Anyone else find it ironic that Lorne was judging someone about and feeling apprehensive about dating someone because of a slight age difference? A 10-year age difference for Lorne was too much when it was legal, but no issues at all when it is highly illegal.
And me being so young.
Oh.
Yep.
Lorne, she's disgusted by you.
More about me.
Yeah, I know you've had sex with. Pretty cool.
Well, and you also know that he used to masturbate into the toilet. Those are 2 things.
And you know something about me that nobody else knows.
Noosh.
Oh yeah, you
The wet dream.
in your pants when you were 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Nobody
special.
else knows. Don't you think that's special? I've never told anybody that.
Don't you think that's special? Like, he really just said, don't you think that's special? A story about 12-year-old Lorne and a wet dream. She should feel like that's special. He really thought he was bringing something that he thought he had bargaining chips. And then after this, he'd be able to remember her. Hey, well, what do you mean? Remember when I told you about what I used to do what I did that night when I was sleeping? He's really disappointed that she is not, what is it? Ass over tea kettle over this information.
Not really. I mean, don't all boys have wet dreams at some point? I don't know.
Impossible to please.
No. I thought that would be rather special that I told you that, because I've never told anybody. It's something I've always kept to myself.
Yeah, for good reason.
I mean, I didn't think it was like anything special. Because I mean, who
Wow.
tell that to anyway?
I don't know. I guess I gotta think of something that would be more special, and I don't know what that could be.
I guess I have to think of something the number one special thing that he hadn't told someone yet. That means Lorne has either told a lot of people too many things, or Lorne doesn't have very many special memories that he hasn't shared with people, or just hasn't had any special memories. That was one of his special memories. The first time he had a wet dream, special memory, thrown away some underwear. Now he's down to 2 pairs.
Well, what's special about it?
Did you hear it?
I've kept to myself all these years.
Yeah, but it was just a wet dream you had once.
Well, yeah, but it was the first one that I ever had.
Case, are you listening?
So,
So I thought that would be special telling you that. That's disappointing that you didn't think it was.
well, no, I mean, I don't understand why that's even like a...
Because it was something that I've never shared with anyone.
Yeah, but who talks about that? Nobody talks about that.
No, nobody talks about it. But
That's his point, Casey, is that nobody talks about it. And he's willing to talk about it with you because he can give you passwords. He can give you a social security number. He'll give that away to anyone. But these special stories, the things that you don't tell people because it's just not something you talk about. He will tell you those things, and now you own that little piece of him. You get to own that memory with him. So congratulations.
It was something that must have meant something to me because I've kept it to myself all these years.
Yeah.
Never told anybody about it.
You didn't just blurt it out at basic training.
What would you tell them?
I mean, it was something about me that was I've never told anybody else. So I thought that you might think that was special.
Okay.
Okay. Casey was thoroughly unimpressed by the news that was shared with her. So we're gonna move on. We are going to move on to a couple of the class assignments. But before we did that, I just wanted to real quickly show you guys something and get your opinion on it.
I heard she mad rich. I heard she dead broke. I heard she sniffing coke. Shut up, bitch.
Hey yo, Kim can spit. Man, she don't write her shit. Nah, Biggie wrote her shit.
Shut up, bitch.
I heard she going to jail.
I heard she out on bail. She done fucked up now.
You know, I'm just gonna one more time, just as a palate cleanser before we move on. Before we move on to the class call, just one more time, we're gonna watch Queen of Spade, who I am streaming about with Nuggies tonight. We're just gonna watch Queen of Spade real quick, do a twerk, and she uploaded this to YouTube on her own. And we're just gonna watch this real quick. So just bear with me 15 seconds.
I heard she mad rich. I heard she dead broke. I heard she sniffing coke. Shut up, bitch.
Hey yo, Kim can spit.
Man, she don't write her shit.
Nah, Biggie wrote her shit.
Shut up, bitch.
I heard she going to jail.
I heard she out on bail. She done fucked up now.
All right, now let's get moving on. You're all welcome for that.
My sexual history began when I was 4 or 5, caught in the doghouse with Lisa. Lisa was 4 or 5 years old also. We were showing each other our private parts. At the age of 13 or 14, I began masturbating to a porn magazine with a nude picture of the actress that played Mary Ellen on the television show, The Waltons. It was the only porn magazine we had in the house for as long as I can remember.
So I asked about this on the last stream. I talked about that. I wanted to look up that magazine and see if it matched up. And Road Scholar, actually, who's in the chat, actually contacted me and did look it up. And it was a Playboy from August 1985 that featured the girl from the Waltons. So Lorne would have been about 14 years old at the time. So it does match. It does match, but I'm wondering if maybe that being his first sexual experience and seeing it be in his eyes going from a girl on a TV show he watched to a woman nude, did that trigger something in his head, something weird? Who knows? But just kind of odd that when he talks about Little House on the Prairie and the Waltons and these sexual things, that the only magazine in his house featured someone that he had first seen as a child. So
Mary Ellen was in her 20s or 30s. At the age of 13, I kissed with a girl named Christy, also 13 years old, at a school dance. At the age of 14, I kissed almost every day for 2 months with a girl named Sherry, 15 years old. For the next 3 years, I didn't find any interest from any of the girls I went to school with or met, partially because my confidence level was down because schoolmates were mad at me for not playing basketball. At age 17, I went on a double date with my cousin and 2 of his female friends.
they were all cousins.
My date's name was Monique, also 17. I kissed with her and felt her breasts. At age 19, I
What do the breasts feel like, Lord?
dated my boss's daughter, Amanda, age 17. I only kissed her and only dated her for 2 months. I had known her since I was a kid. My boss had mentioned marriage to me and I broke up with her and quit my job. At age 19, I dated Denise, 29, for 3 months. The first time I had sexual intercourse was with Denise. We only had oral and vaginal intercourse, almost every night for 3 months. I broke up with her because she lied to me about something. From there, I went into the Air Force and had one-night stands, as well as after leaving the Air Force. While in basic training, I met a girl named Jennifer, 18, and kissed her. I was 20.
Okay, I got questions about that. Has anyone else been in specifically Air Force basic training? You are separated. There was no time or opportunities for hooking up with anyone in basic training. That I just don't see that happening. I think that's bullshit.
When at my permanent duty station in Alaska, I met a woman named Sarah, 23, and I was 21. I had 3 one-night stands with her. All vaginal intercourse. I also had a one-night stand with a girl named Gretchen, 22.
There we go.
Also vaginal intercourse. I was 23. After the Air Force, I moved home to Maine, and met a girl named Tina, from Liberty, Maine, 23, and I was 24. I had a one-night stand with her. Vaginal intercourse. I moved to Washington State at the age of 24. There I met and fell in love with Paula, 24. I didn't realize she was a player, so I got hurt deeply, but I had sex with her once, only vaginal. At age 9, whenever I was at home
half a time. One half time.
alone with a specific brother, that was age 14, he would whistle to me and that would be my signal to go to his room so he could feel my private area, and he would have me feel his. This happened up to my age of 12. At the age of 24, I had vaginal intercourse with a girl named Carrie, also 24, from Washington State. At the age of 25, I had oral and vaginal intercourse with a girl named Kathy, 24, from Washington State. At the age of 25, I had vaginal intercourse with Debbie, 26, from Washington State. Age 25, I had vaginal intercourse with a girl named Lisa, in her 30s, from Washington State. I moved back to Maine when I was 26. I had vaginal intercourse with a girl named Christy, 23, from J. At age 26, I had vaginal intercourse with a girl that I don't remember her name, but was also from J. She was 24. At age 27, I moved back to Washington State. That was where I first started going on the internet. I met a girl on there when I was 28. She was in Pennsylvania. She told me her name was Amanda, but it turned out to be Leslie. She told me the truth about 2.5 years later when I moved back to Maine to be closer to her so we could see each other. I didn't date anyone or sleep with anyone those 2.5 years. I would masturbate to thoughts of being with her sexually and would also have phone sex with her. After getting over Amanda/Leslie, I had vaginal intercourse with Billy Joe, 30, I was 32, 2 one-night stands, then 2 more one-nights.
Yep. So that's in case anyone's counting, that's 4 one-night stands with Billy Joe. Okay. How many one-night stands? 4. How many Lone Rangers were there? 11. Because that's 11. Yeah, 11 lone people, 11 Lone Rangers, and 4 one-night stands. Thank you.
Stand when I was 34, and she was 32. At age 34, I had a one-night stand with a girl named Kim, 25,
times.
Only vaginal intercourse. At age 35, I had dated a girl named Brandy, age 35, for 2 weeks, only vaginal intercourse. At age 35, I had vaginal intercourse with a girl from Bangor, in her 20s, I don't remember her name. Age 35, I had vaginal intercourse with a girl from Heartland, in her 30s, I don't remember her name. At age 36, I had vaginal intercourse with a girl from Skowhegan, in her 20s. I don't remember her name. At age 35, I met a girl on the
Yeah, I just want to point out there's a lot of people. We're reading off a long list, and this man thought that there were like 9 clits. 9 clits could be possible. 9 clits and hangy floppy flaps. That's what condoms feel just like better than a vagina, because a vagina can at times feel like warm wet air.
internet named Vanessa, 25, from New York. I would have phone sex with her over a year's time.
Mhm.
At age 36, I moved to Nashville, Tennessee. I went into an adult chat room, and that is where I met my sexual victim, the quote
Wait, why did he leave out Molly and the other underage girl that he was chatting with?
unquote 13-year-old girl, named Kayla. 2 nights before going to the Sting house, I had vaginal intercourse with a girl that was 41, and from Nashville. It was a one-night stand. I don't remember her name. I was 36. When I was 34 or 35 and on the internet, I was in a country music chat
Oh, here
room
we
and met
go.
a 15-year-old girl by the name of Molly.
Okay.
We had become good friends, and approximately 2 years after we met, we had began flirting with each other. Before this, I had always been someone for her to talk to about her alcoholic dad, and her boyfriend, and friends, and school problems. After she turned 17, we were flirting.
Talking to a minor about the issues that she's having in her life, so he can be that authority figure, so that when she, in his mind, is quote unquote old enough, he can turn it into sexual propositions.
Penis to her on webcam. About a year after meeting Molly, I met Melissa, 16. Melissa began talking to her about her doing drugs, and I was able to talk her into stopping the drug usage. I had also met her in a country music room. About a year after meeting Melissa, we began flirting, and I exposed my penis to her over webcam.
What's up, poop frog?
It was my birthday the night of the Sting, and I turned 37.
Today.
I was supposed to go out to a karaoke bar with a friend for my birthday, but at the last minute decided to go meet the quote-unquote 13.
Look, I had plans with adults. I'm gonna be honest with you. I had plans with adults for my birthday. I was gonna go do adult things. I had plans, Mr. Hanson. Last minute, and this was again. I had plans. Last minute, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and head out onto Bowling Green and maybe have sex with the teenager I plan to have sex. But that's a maybe, because, like I said, I had adult plans with adults that I blew off to be here. What does that tell you?
13-year-old girl, Kayla. Since the Sting, I have only masturbated once or twice a week to thoughts of ex-girlfriends that are adults.
And of course, what he meant to say is they're adults now, but the thoughts in his head are not of the adult versions of those women. And I think it really did ruin it for him seeing Paula now, because he wants to see Paula as whatever she was when they were hanging out and she was rocking the stonewashed denim and the LA gears. That's the Paula he wants, with the teased LA looks hair, not Paula in Alaska.
I was in front of the computer and
Okay.
talked sexually to what I thought was a 13-year-old girl.
What's up, Cat3y?
I had felt like I had found someone that cared about me and not my wallet. I would continue saying sexual things to her because I thought she wanted me to, and I only wanted to make her happy because I didn't want to lose a person I thought really cared about me as a person, versus me as someone they could use for their own personal gain. I went as far as to show Kayla myself naked on webcam, and even went to quote-unquote her house, even though I knew I didn't want to, and had continuously said as much to quote-unquote Kayla that we couldn't meet until she was 18.
I think of all the damaging things that Lorne continuously says about himself in the Sting is that I didn't want to. Because if you truly didn't want to and you still did, it means you couldn't fight those urges that you have to be a predator against a child. And so you didn't want to, but the FOMO dick was so strong that you did anyway. And because you can't accept that, that's why you're going to be an RSO for life, because you can't be trusted on your own.
But in the end, I went to her quote-unquote her house to meet what I thought was a 13-year-old girl.
Yep.
On the way to Kayla's house, I wanted to turn around and go back home. I almost turned around on the median,
What
but
happened?
decided I would get off at the next exit and go back home. It turned out that there was a long gap between exits, and the next exit ended up being the one I would use to go to quote-unquote Kayla's house. I got off the next exit and found my way to quote-unquote her house. I drove past quote-unquote her house and turned around in the next driveway, still not wanting to go there. I drove past quote-unquote her house and went to the rotary just past her house. I stopped on the rotary and debated whether to go there or not. I began driving again and was going to drive past again until I saw Kayla in the driveway, waving me down. I turned into the driveway and parked my truck. She greeted me as I got out of my truck.
I skipped to the door and said, very manly, "Hey, girl."
And we made small talk as she led me into the house and told me to try out quote-unquote her new chair. I sat in it and she sat across from me on the
Why was her new chair in quotes? Like that wasn't even her, guys, it wasn't even her fucking chair. It was all a lie. That wasn't even her chair. I'm not even 100% sure that when she's with Alex Jones, she probably sits on the regular chair. She doesn't just sit on the edge. That was a lie too. It was all lies.
arm of another chair, explaining the massage and heat and cooling things about the chair. After the small talk, she asked me if I brought condoms. I told her I did, and they were in the truck. I told her I also brought quote-unquote her, the gift that she asked me to bring. Then she said,
"What good are they doing out there?"
Meaning the condoms. I told her I wanted a kiss first. She said,
"Let's talk a bit first."
So I continued sitting still, ready to start talking to her. That's when Chris Hansen walked out and quote-unquote Kayla left. Chris Hansen sat down across from me and began.
If any of the stories that you're telling end up with the sentence, and then that's when Chris Hansen walked out, you immediately have my attention. You immediately have my attention. I need to know what happens next. Lorne should learn how to format a story because buddy, you buried the lead. You buried the lead. If your story includes a sentence that says, and that's when Chris Hansen walked out, and anywhere in before that, I hear cookies, brownie, iced tea, or that's how we do it down in the South, I'm pretty sure I know what's coming next.
Asking me questions. The first thought in my head was that he was a cop or quote-unquote her father because I had never seen him on TV before. When he was finished asking me questions because I stopped talking, he asked me if I knew who he was. I told him, no. He told me he was Chris Hansen with MSNBC, and they were doing a segment on child predators. I was pissed because I knew I never wanted to go there. Just then, the TV crew came out with cameras, and I got up saying, "Oh God."
I was pissed because they would choose to do a story about child predators and have them there the same night I was innocently there to have sex with a 13-year-old. Like the coincidence, you know what I mean? That's shitty.
God. And walked out of the house. As soon as I walked out of the house, I got arrested. I ended up here because it was court mandated, along with 60 months of incarceration, lifetime sex offender registry, and lifetime probation.
Yeah, and that was Lorne getting used and abused by the system again. Once again, Lorne knows what it's like. So now this is going to be our last. I believe we have one more. I think we have one more. Yeah, it's part 7. It says offender self-assessment, I think. So I thought this would be a good one to close with after, listening to his KC calls and hearing the things he says, and then listening to his assignments and how he sees himself. It's pretty eye-opening. This guy's really fucked up. Way more fucked up than when you're first listening to the Ramona calls and you get into those. He becomes a cartoon character, and I it's fine. I think the more that he's catfished, the less he's out there fucking with actual people, because this man will stalk you. But just you forget sometimes what a monster this dude really is and could have been. And if he was smarter and had more resources, he would have a trail of victims because he tried. If he had more confidence in himself and a penis that worked too, he would have been out there doing way more shit. Like this is a scary man. Like
is to determine whether you are similar to other people who commit crimes. Crimes behave and behave how these people have learned to think. An offender that you're thinking and behaviors clearly point to a serious problem. Read the following descriptions and check yes if this has happened to you or if you have done this, and check no if this has not happened to you or you have not done this. Part 1. Before age 15.
Before age 15, I did not often skip school because I didn't want to be there or because I wanted to do other things. Before age 15, I did not run away from home or where I lived at least 2 times, overnight. Before age 15, I did not start physical fights with others more than once. Before age 15, I did not use a gun, knife, club, chain, or other weapon in more than one fight. Before age 15, I did not force someone into sex or sexual activity. Before age 15, I was not cruel to or hurt animals. Before age 15, I did not physically hurt other people. Before age 15, I did not destroy or damage other people's property on purpose. Before age 15, I did not set fires on purpose. Before age 15, I did not often lie to other people. Before age 15, I did not take things that didn't belong to me, I did not forge checks, and I did not break into places to steal more than once. Before age 15, I did not force people to give me things that belonged to them.
Add up the check marks in the yes column and do the same for the check marks in the no column. If you have 3 or more answers in the yes column, you act and think similarly to people who commit crimes. This behavior starts very early in life. This means you will have to work hard to change the way you think and act. Part 2. Since age 15.
Since age 15, I haven't not worked when there was work available. I have not skipped work or classes because I wanted to, or have quit several jobs or schools without having any plans for the future.
What? Well, I mean, I get it is a self-assignment, so I don't expect him to be honest with himself.
Since age 15, I have not committed crime and illegal things that I could have been arrested for. Since age 15, I have not had many physical fights or have beaten up my spouse, lover, or children. Since age 15, I have failed to pay bills or child support, or I have failed to take care of my family. Since age 15, I have moved without having a job, I have drifted from place to place, or have lived without a home more than a month at a time. Since age 15, I have not lied, used a false name, or conned people to get what I want.
What about Betty? What about the children that you lured and groomed?
Since age 15, I have driven a car recklessly while using or drinking and have acted in ways that cause danger to others. Since age 15, I have not failed to take care of my children by leaving them alone, not feeding them, or depended on others to take care of them for me.
Well, that's true. Lorne would actually take care of your children if you were going to be away. And that's what he was going to do for Kayla. But he weren't going to bring any pizza.
Since age 15, I have never been able to stay faithful to a sexual partner for more than 1 year. Since age 15, I have felt...
Lorne marked that because he thought that would make him look like someone who wasn't attracted to children. So he's going to mark like, well, I'm a playboy. Lorne, you were still in love with Polly. You guys had sex 0.62% of the time. You could be faithful. You would be absolutely faithful because you would expect the same in return. and no one else would want you. No one.
Bad most of the time when I have stolen, hurt, or treated someone else badly.
Add up the check marks in the yes column and do the same for the no column. If you have 4 or more answers in the yes column, it means you act and think similarly to people who commit crimes.
Now Lorne does have 4 here, and I think these are the 4 that he could not deny because of his charges. And then the one that he threw in about because he'd already put in his assessment all the different sex that he had, so he wanted to put in about him, having a problem being faithful because he's just a playboy out here having sex with lots of adult women. Court, you hear that? Adult.
If you did not have 3 or more answers in the yes column on the before age 15 section, it means that your offender behavior is completely connected to your alcohol and drug use.
Ooh.
One way to make sure is to review your answers in the yes column on the since age 15 section and ask yourself if these things always happened when you were trying to get alcohol or drugs, using alcohol or drugs, or because you had been using alcohol or drugs recently. If alcohol and drugs were not part of why you did these things, ask yourself what happened or changed in your life that made you start doing them. Complete the sentences below and think about what they mean in your recovery. How do you feel about the results of the test you just took?
I think the conclusion for the scoring is inaccurate because of my circumstances in my life.
What do you think about the results of the test you just took?
I think too many items are in one question.
What do you want to do about the results of the test you just took?
Fix the problems that I know are true, and tell the people that wrote this book to not put quote-unquote trap questions/options in any future books.
It is normal to feel angry.
Lorne wants to talk to their manager, doesn't he?
Or upset about the results of this test. Some people think this test doesn't mean anything and try to ignore the results. Part of what causes people to continue to get into trouble with the law is they ignore things that they do not want to hear. This is called denial. You can quit here and repeat the past, or you can decide to change by continuing to look at yourself critically. In order to change, you must accept who you are now. Complete the following sentences. If I do not change the way I think, I will probably
lose my head again.
If I do change the way I think.
How do you describe years of trying to sleep with children as losing your head? It like that again. There's like space for 6 sentences there, and I'm sure some people end up having to write on the back, and all Lorne can come up with is lose my head again, because that's what this is to him. It's silly him because people were taking advantage of him in his mind, so he had to move because he fucked up and wanted to start over, and he started over by within 2 months of moving, ending up on getting arrested at a sting house trying to have sex with a child.
Think I might be able to
straighten my life back out and live the life I have always wanted, or close to it.
And that was it for the calls. But I want to play this new weird versions, this new weird versions drop that just came out. And then if you guys want to see that twerking video again, by all means, just let me know. Let me see a sign of hands if you want to see Queen of Spades twerking in the gray panties again. Just one. Give me a 1 if yes, and give me a 2 if oh yes. Thank you. I'm still here.
Don't fucking do it. You cheated on me. gotta get up. Tickle, 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 tickle with another guy. Tickle, 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 tickle with another guy. What do you want, cheater? Tickle, 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 tickle with another guy. What do you want, cheater?
I'm sorry, baby, I'm a slut.
You're not fucking sorry, you're It's a motherfucking asshole! It's fucking asshole! Tickle, 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 tickle with another guy. Tickle, 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 tickle with another guy. Alright, okay, we got the fucking. We've got to the fucking shit that we need for fucking drug abuse.
I'm sorry, baby, I'm a slut.
You're not fucking sorry, you're a slut. It's a motherfucking asshole. It's fucking asshole. You're not fucking sorry. You're trying to use your woolly fucking ways. It's not working on me.
I love you,
You're fucking just your shit. You're a guy and cheating on me. You're not fucking sorry. You're trying to use your woolly fucking ways and cheating on me. You don't love me. You love teenage lot.
Guys, I pinned the link to that in the chat, so please go give Weird Version some love. Putting together a lot of talent. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I will be back shortly, excuse me, for the Queen of Spades stream. And then tomorrow I will be doing some more Lorne stuff, the robot stuff. And I'm doing a stream with Donde tomorrow too, a Jorn stream. So I've got a busy weekend of streaming. So if I don't see you for the rest of the night, please sleep well.
My first time out on my computer day, and I was looking forward to whatever she might have planned. The computer dating service people. When I told them it was time for a change, said they had to keep hush. Box lunch, they had a lady just a little bit strange. So they showed me the photo of a goddess, and then they asked me if I thought she would do. You know she didn't look too very shy about it, but then again I didn't want her to. When I asked them what they thought made her so different, different from any other girl you meet on the street. Listen, believe it or not, your coffee's right in the slot, and that's a combination damn hard to beat. And when I finally reached her bungalow, she answered the door, dressed in leather. She said,
"Whenever I make it, I stereotape it, so later we can hear us back
together. Well, she could take some abuse and never blow a fuse. We did it real to
What's up, y'all? Westmost from the Best Coast, all up in here, letting y'all know you need to get with the flow.
Rocket fuel, we love rocket fuel.
Oh yeah, Rocket Fuel malt liquor has the heavyweight power. Whether you've got the urge to rip it up to some fat booty beats,
or just chill with the honeys, so you get on that rocket and see the stars.
Rocket Fuel malt liquor, damn!
I'm Evil Little McNuggets, and I love it.
What does Nuggies love so much? Well, that's easy. Today's video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, one of the biggest mobile role-playing games of 2022, and it's totally free. Currently, almost 20 million users have joined Raid over the last 6 months, and it's one of the most impressive games in its class, with detailed models, environments, and smooth 60 frames per second animations.
Guys, what are you waiting for? It's so cool.
Good point. What are you waiting for? Use code SPADE for a special welcome prize. So get off this stupid live stream, have a seat, and log on now. Hey Nuggies, let us have some of those fat booty beats.
I wrote this song all by myself from scratch.
Evil Little McNuggets loves Raid Shadow Legends. You can be a winner if you play Raid Shadow Legends with me. You can be the 300,000 million people playing Raid Shadow Legends with me. Join the J Squad. Be a raid god. You can be a winner like me. Will you beat me? We don't know. Guess we'll wait and we'll see. Everybody loves this crazy game. And that's what they say. But you won't know until you go. Download Raid today.